Hello and welcome back to my channel, Boozy Bookish Thoughts. I'm Justine, or J if you prefer, and welcome to my new video. So today we are doing my March TBR. On Friday we will be doing my February wrap-up, so I will get you caught up on what I've spent February reading. Spoiler alert, it was not a lot. But I will say that what I read in February heavily influenced what I plan to read in March, because both of those were the first in series that I really want to continue. So we will continue those two series in March. We are not drinking wine, unfortunately. I am so sorry. I know it's been so long since we've had wine featured on this channel. It's just that part of enjoying adult beverages means also being a responsible drinker, and currently I'm on antibiotics for some health stuff, and that means I can't drink. Like, it would be irresponsible for me to drink. So we are doing virgin rum punch, which is basically just punch. I mean, rum punch without rum is just punch. It's still very good, and I made it myself, but it's not boozy. It's not boozy. So today we are just this week we are just bookish thoughts. We are virgin rum punch bookish thoughts. So going straight into the TBR. So the first book that I read in February was Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, which is the first in the Dragon Riders of Pern series. And I got really into it. I got super into it. And I decided that since I own the next two books, I bought like a compendium of the first three books. So I own the first three books. So I've decided to continue on with the series, at least until the third book. And so that means that my next two reads in March are... Oh dear, what happened to my notes? Oh dear. There. Sorry. So that means my next two reads for March are Dragon Quest and The White Dragon. So these are book 2 and book 3 in the Dragon Riders of Pern series. If you're familiar with that series, it's sort of sci-fi, sort of fantasy, but it involves dragons, and dragons like battling this mysterious force that falls on their planet. And it's about the men who ride the dragons and form this emotional bond with the dragons. There's also lots of politics and stuff, because there's the relationship between where the dragons live with their riders, and with the like political leaders, and with like the craftsmen, and then there's also like the relationships between the different dragon riders and all that. It's pretty complicated, it's pretty complex, and I'm really enjoying it. The world building is very great. I will talk about this some more in my wrap-up. After I get through those two books, they're not that long. They're less than 300 pages each, I think. So I'm hoping to get through both, but I'm not promising anything. But after I get through those two books, I hope to finally move on to Peace Talks, because it has been so much delayed, and I feel so guilty for ignoring my favorite series like this. But we will get to it. We will get to it eventually. So there. And then for audiobooks, the audiobook that I listened to in February was also the first in a series, and that was The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. Now that is the first in the Hawthorne and Horowitz series, which is like a kind of detective novel series, murder mystery series, which features a fictional version of the author Horowitz. It's, you know, Hawthorne and Horowitz. And the main character is Hawthorne, who is a surly, not very likable detective kind of guy. It's a bit of a Holmes and Watson pairing type thing, and I will talk about this some more in my wrap-up as well. But I super liked the first book, and it ended on a slight cliffhanger. And so, me being the impatient little bitch that I am, I jumped straight into the second book, The Sentence is Death. But like the cliffhanger is like resolved within like the first chapter, and so I haven't gotten past the first chapter. So let's see. But I think this is less than 10 hours. And I hope to get through it not too long from now. I always sound so optimistic in my TBRs, don't I? I'm always like, I hope to get through this. I hope to get through this. And then in my wrap-ups, I'm always like, I didn't get through it. At some point, you guys are gonna call me out, but that's okay. There are several more books in the series, and I have access to almost all of them, I think, through Scribd. But I'm hoping to stop at The Sentence is Death, because March 13 to 19 is Neurodiversity Celebration Week. And we will be celebrating that here on this channel. But part of that means also I hope to be reading The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. Now, Sunyi Dean is an autistic author, and I believe The Book Eaters features an autistic character. I'm not super sure. But I do want to at least be reading a book by a neurodivergent author during Neurodiversity Celebration Week. So, fingers crossed that I'm done with The Sentence is Death by then, and that the timing works out so that there's not too like long a gap between when I finish The Sentence is Death and The Book Eaters. And I can start The Book Eaters, I mean. After that, I'm so sorry, here comes the classic I hope to finally get through to this, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Yeah, I've had this on my TBR since like last year. I started making videos last year, and I was already featuring this on my TBR videos, and it's kind of like, when am I actually gonna read this? I don't know. It's not that I don't want to read. I'm just never in the mood for like straight up romance, you know? Like there's romance in Dragonflight, there's romance in Dragon Quest. But I've just never been in the mood for like straight up romance, you know? Even when it was February, like if you'll notice, all of my Valentine's videos were about books other than romance. Maybe I should take this off my list, since I'm not expecting to be in the mood for romance at the end of March either. What do you guys think? Should I push through with this? It's on my priority list for 2023, but maybe I should make a concession and read it at a later date once I'm finally in the mood for romance. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with my love life. It's just that I don't know, I don't read a lot of romance. Maybe it's just because I haven't read Casey McQuiston, but I hear she's such a good romance author. And I hear such good things about this, and I do want to read it before like the TV series or the movie, before I watch the movie. But I don't know, every time I say I'm going to pick it up, I get distracted, or like I make up an excuse to read something else. I really don't know. Leave your comments down below. Give me advice on whether I should switch out Red, White, and Royal Blue from my TBR for something other than straight up romance. Or if maybe you can suggest another Casey McQuiston book that might be a bit more my speed. Maybe I should start with One Last Stop, since there's an element of like sci-fi fantasy there with the time travel. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you have any other thoughts about the books that I'm choosing to read this week. I will talk some more about my February reads in my next video. Spoiler alert, there's only 2. But that's it for me. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And cheers with Virgin Rum Punch.